Hi guys, in today's episode we'll explore the journey of becoming BI specialist. By the end of this video, you will have a clear understanding of what it takes to become a BI specialist, and you will be well in your way to become one yourself. Whether you are already a BI specialist who's trying to add a wow factor to your BI solution, or you're starting a career in business intelligence, I guarantee you by the end of this video, you will gain a fresh perspective in how to elevate your BI skills using a proven methodology. As someone with extensive experience as professional BI specialist, I'll guide you through the process. All you need to do is subscribe to this channel and keep watching. By each episode, I'll get you a step closer to become a BI guru. I promise you won't be disappointed. It is essential to understand that it's not enough to learn the tools of BI to become a successful BI specialist. You also need to learn how to bridge the gap between the business requirements and the technical capabilities. And that's where I come in. I'll guide you on conquering the BI world by combining cutting-edge technologies with the ability to translate the business requirements into impressive BI solutions. In today's episode, we'll dive into a real-life-like scenario that you'll encounter in your day-to-day job as a BI specialist. I'll walk you through the process from the minute you receive a request to develop a dashboard, analyze the business needs, and developing a mesmerizing BI solution. So grab a cup of coffee and let's get down to business. Okay guys, let's start by setting the scenario. Imagine you are a BI specialist in a big tech company. One of the project managers from the business development department approaches you to develop a dashboard to benchmark how the big tech companies around the world dealt with COVID pandemic. They also invited you to a meeting to discuss this in details. And guys, this is how usually the request will come to you. Most of the BI specialists will focus on meeting the technical requirements. But if you want to excel in your field, this is not enough. To deliver a complete BI solution that goes beyond just presenting some data in a dashboard, you need to dig deeper and find the answers on the following questions. Why, who, what, and how. Let's start by the why. You need really to understand the underlying reason for developing this dashboard. The request came to you was very high level, just to benchmark how big tech companies dealt with the pandemic. Clearly, there's an underlying reason for that. Second, who? I can't emphasize enough how important the answer for this question is. You need to understand exactly who your audience is. Not only their position of the hierarchy in the company, but also how they view reports usually. Are they willing to go explore online dashboards with filters and slicers? 3. What? This question revolves around the dashboard itself. How it will appear, what KPIs are to be shown, what data is available to show in the dashboard. Most of BI specialists are good in getting answers for these questions because they want to develop a dashboard. However, they often miss an important part. What it takes to make this BI solution complete, and this is tied with the why we answered earlier. This brings us to the fourth question, how? Understanding your audience will help you decide how to develop the dashboard. Is it going to be a dynamic dashboard with filters and slicers or a static dashboard? How many pages the dashboard will have? How the dashboard will be viewed? Do you need to have it ready to print it as a PDF? With the above formula in mind, let's revisit our scenario and apply it. During the meeting, while the team is brainstorming, you'll hear discussions that touch upon the questions you want to ask without you even asking them. For instance, someone will mention that sales aren't recovering as expected after the pandemic, while another person talks about losing key team members due to salary cuts. Another comments, the business development head wants to revise the post-pandemic business plan. Now, as a BI specialist, you might initially feel that this discussion isn't relevant to you. But here's the thing. You have already obtained answers to the most crucial questions, the real purpose behind this exercise, and the key audience for the report. When the discussion eventually shifts to the dashboard, it will revolve around the appearance of the dashboard itself and what the dashboard will show. And maybe the team will decide to go benchmark the market and get you some data in bullet points to show them in the dashboard. Let them do their part, but there is more research for you to conduct. In our scenario, we discovered that the business development head is the main audience for this dashboard. So let's find more about him or her. To do this, there is an amazing trick you can utilize if you are using PowerBI to develop dashboards and you publish them to the PowerBI service. You can navigate to the tenant in PowerBI online service and locate the reports shared with your main audience. Now here is what you can do. First, take a look at each of the reports and observe the structure and look and feel of the dashboards they're accustomed to. This will provide insights into the level of details, such whether it's one-page report or multi-page report, and whether it includes filters and slices. You can gain many answers simply by observing this report. Second, and this is my favorite trick, in PowerBI service, there is a usage matrix associated with each of the published reports. Access the usage matrix and you will discover a wealth of data that can provide insights about your audience. You will be able to see whether they access the reports shared with them. Are they actively using them? Or do they prefer receiving printed PDFs? Trust me, it happens more than you think. You can also find how often your audience accesses the dashboard, what devices they typically use to access the reports, from a phone or from the browser, which pages they view the most, summary pages, detailed pages, or analytical pages. Guys, I just love the data you get out of the usage matrix because it's based on actual human behavior and numbers don't lie. Now, for the sake of our scenario, based on the above exercise, let's assume we discover the following answers. They prefer 1 or at most 2 pages reports. They are comfortable with a few slices and filters. And finally, they mainly use the browsers and sometimes mobiles to view reports and dashboards. Now you see, this information is sufficient to help you determining the appearance of the dashboard. Now, if your company doesn't use PowerBI online service, you need to get some answers from the team working under your main audience, because they are the ones who are preparing the reports for them and they know how they prefer to see the reports. So maybe you ask them to share some of the reports they created earlier for them. Here is a summary of the business requirements we gathered during this exercise. We started by the why, the real trigger behind this exercise, and we discovered that the revenue is not recovered as expected after the COVID pandemic. And we also discovered the company lost key members due to salary cuts during the pandemic. For this reason, a request came to develop a dashboard to benchmark how big tech companies around the world dealt with the pandemic, for the purpose of enabling decision-making in revising the post-pandemic business plan. In the next, we covered who is the audience for this dashboard. And we found that the key audience for this dashboard is the head of business development department. And using the trick we learned earlier, we managed to access the reports and we found some insights as we explained earlier. We found out our key audience usually access the PowerBI reports shared with them. They're also comfortable with navigating through those reports and use filters and slicers. Also, we discovered that they're using the browsers and sometimes the phones to access the reports. Another important thing we discovered about our main audience, that they're always interested in tracking the sales and revenues trends. Then we moved to the what, to discover what data is available, and we found that the business development team will conduct a research using the annual financial reports available for big tech companies to get insights on how these companies dealt with the pandemic. So probably the information will be available in PDF format. And just to close the loop, we can get some revenue trend data available in the company in an Excel format. Also, the business development team might give us their findings in the form of bullet points in an Excel sheet. And that brings us to the fourth element of the BI solution, how the dashboard will eventually look like. And we will discuss this section in details in the next part. Okay guys, by now we have all the answers and we're ready to develop the BI solution. We actually developed a comprehensive understanding of the business requirements and we're ready to develop the BI solution in the next part. In many setups, a business analyst handles the business requirements and translates them to a technical requirements and pass them to the BI developer. While this is perfectly fine, if there is a business analyst in the equation, you still need to be as involved as possible in the business requirements. Why? Because as a BI specialist, you know exactly what can work and what can't work from technical perspective. Also, by fully understanding the business requirements, you can take the report to the next level by adding more insights based on the exercise you conducted. Furthermore, you will gain insights about the audience using this dashboard, and this will help you to put the dashboard together. Given its importance, I dedicated this episode to cover the business requirements analysis. If you found the content valuable, please hit the like button, and if you're new, subscribe to the channel. And I also appreciate your feedback, so please leave a comment. Now we have finished the first part and we covered the business requirements. We are ready for the next part, which is developing the BI solution. Tune in for the next episode where I will show you how to translate these business requirements into spot-on BI solution. We will utilize cutting-edge technologies like ChatGPT and Python scripts to develop a dashboard that go beyond the expectations. But before you watch the next part, make sure to watch the previous episode where we covered how to deal with PDF in PowerBI, because we will build on the contents of those episodes in the next part. I've included a link in the description for those episodes. And for now, peace.